cancel. Copy video URL. And we go here. Go here. Dad will not be here, unfortunately, because he is jury duty. He's at jury duty. So that's sad. But alright. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Alright. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi. Alright, about a 7 to 8 second delay. That's fine. Alright, about a 7 to 8 second. Let's drop that. Copy link. Public. Done. Save. I know I just started streaming I know I just made the stream public, but I'm gonna. Yeah. Don't really care if nobody watches this. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly confident that I'm not really gonna blow up until I actually manage to get like a full proper story told. Like this, I'm ultimately gonna try and dress it up as like a sort of a teaser sort of thing. just gonna eventually. Yeah. I don't know. I'm running. I'm running a bit out of time at the moment. And, so what we're gonna do. So, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna make cool shit. It's gonna be great. Oh. I'm gonna make cool stuff. It's gonna be great. So, what I want Deckard to do, so Deckard is the one moving. So, Deckard is the one moving. I want him to move. I want him to, like, shift back. So that's gonna be one. And then I want his arm to sort of swing down into a more neutral pose. I'm going to be doing that trick that I've done in a couple previous streams. At least I think I did those in stream. There's a trick that I sometimes do for difficult shots where I want them to end at a certain point, and where they start isn't necessarily as important, where I animate them backwards. So that's going to be second. And then third is going to be we reverse it. So there's this trick. I'm pretty sure I've done this in previous streams. Unfortunately, nobody's watching and nobody cares enough. And, like, I don't have a big enough following. I don't have a following of hardcore fans who remember everything I say, who can correct me on this stuff. So I've probably gone over this before. But there's a trick that I sometimes use on more difficult shots where I want the character to end, where I want whatever movement I'm trying to animate to end in a certain position, and I don't necessarily care about where it starts, where I will animate it backwards. I will animate them like this shot. This shot is actually fake. This shot is actually, like, this shot is actually fake. It's supposed to look like he's putting his hand, where, like, Deckard is placing a comforting hand on Morgan's shoulder, but the figure does not actually have he's got, you know, he's only got the grippy hands, and I was not able to find. He's got one hand that's like this and one hand that's like a trigger hand, neither of which make for very convincing. I guess I could have done it the other way, but hold on.
What is this thing?
It's a storage file usually containing the message send the good ones get confidential. How do you get it?
The courier he shoved it at me, told me to hide, then he...
That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Actually, that would make more sense. Because he's over here now. He's over here. He's like all the way over here. I don't really have enough room to stand up, but like, here's a figure. He's standing like, I don't really have an analog for Morgan, but like Morgan's sitting over here, he's standing over here, right foot forward. It wouldn't make sense for him to right foot forward. It would actually make more sense for him to step forward with his left, toward closer to her with his left foot, to places. I did not think about that. Okay. The plan is changing slightly. This whole deal with the step back, the lower the hand, and then Control C, Control V in reverse. That's still the plan. That is absolutely still the plan. That is absolutely still the plan. But what we're gonna do instead of this, and I'm leaving a bunch of blue tack on my set. That's fine. That's fine. I'm actually very pleased with how my set has held up. Very, very pleased. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put blue tack on his left foot, because what we're going to do, see Deckard's offhand, see? His other hand is a trigger hand. That's why I had to hide it behind Morgan's shoulder. We're still going to be doing some visual trickery, but we're going to be... And you know what we're going to do is we're going to put his head... We're going to turn his head this way, because you can't actually see it. But that's just to show me how far back I want Deckard to swing. The shadow might look weird, but that's something I'm willing to deal with. But I'm going to have his arm out like this, kind of... kind of positioned, not necessarily touching. But then the off shot is going to be kind of weird. Because, like, I can't put... Yeah. Because, like, I can't put the camera... Yeah, no, I think I need to do it the other way. Because I can't exactly put the camera back in this corner. And that would break the rules of cinematography anyway. So... No. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I change. I changed my mind. We're gonna... changed my mind. We're sticking with the initial plan, because the initial sleight of hand sort of. We're gonna stick with the initial plan, which was. We're gonna stick with the initial plan. Real close to the table, though. Morgan's a bit off, too. Okay. Okay. If you're wondering what I'm doing with the light, with it dark like this, it's really hard to tell if everything is or is not in focus. So I'm just adding a bit more light to the scene. To make sure. In fact, I'm going to do a test shot so that the moving of the handheld flashlight doesn't distract me. Or that looks fairly in focus. Yeah. Okay. So, let's get rolling. Ow. Let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. Alright. Yes, the camera is shaking. So... fact, I'm gonna kill the dialogue real quick. Because I know already that basically I'm gonna try and get to
Peace.
like, I'm not gonna try and get all the way to 260 just on this. What I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and make it to like 253.
Peace.
It's okay, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames of Kid, I'm gonna freeze on that last frame of Deckard. Actually, I'm either gonna freeze on those on those 7 frames, or I'm gonna switch to an angle that's looking more at Deckard, where we can see his face, and then have Morgan like look up at him, and then. Yeah, I did. Let's start over. Yeah, I did. I'll have to start over. That's okay. I'm only 2 frames in. Need to be careful about these. I need a better solution for blocking those off. Yeah, that's okay enough. Like, this didn't quite work. There's 2. It's almost too opaque. Just open there would have worked. I don't know. I meant to completely overhaul my lighting setup, but I'll take this camera. As you can see, not like, I've got a lot of space. I've got a lot of space up here and not a lot of space down here. So the thing with lamps is I have to figure out where to put them. And like, maybe if I remove everything from this table and like collapse it, I could get something like this big light up here, and I could shove it in there. But like, the stand that this lamp is sitting on is in the center, like the pole of the stand is in the center. I would need something that's more like this, that's on the edge, that I could stick down there. Or maybe something... I don't know. I don't know. I need to look into... Maybe I could hook something? Like up to this bar up here? I don't know. I'm gonna have to investigate overhauling my lights. I meant to do it this time. That didn't really happen. So, I'm gonna have to do it in the future. After I've graduated. So yeah. Let us move on, shall we? Oh, I still got the whole thing going. There we go. So what I'm doing here is instead, so basically what he's doing is he's sort of doing, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to replicate this, but the Deckard, the Cobb Vanth figure that I made Deckard out of is not exactly very forgiving in terms of posability. He's very stiff. And so I'm making up for that. So I'm kind of simulating that pull away motion by moving the figure away, and then so I'm turning the whole figure to move his arm away to a point where I could safely lower it, and then yeah, I'm gonna copy the frames and I'm gonna paste them in reverse, and I'm gonna hide the original frames, and that's a trick that has served me fairly well throughout this entire scene. There's a couple different points in this scene where that has served me well. Mostly with these turns. Like that one. Can't really show it, but that turn. I reversed that turn. I reversed that turn. And so... yeah, here's the lamps again. But yes, ideally, I will be able to replace these small lamps that are right there in front of my set with larger lamps, like this guy, that are a little more out of the way. I'm not gonna worry about the lights anymore, because like if I turn these two off and I turn the brightness on this guy all the way up, and I like angle him more towards this guy's actually a bit tall. This guy might actually be a bit too tall, but That's not really... Okay. That's a bit better. The small lamps are in my way right now. But, see, that's doing pretty much the exact same job that this lamp is doing. Only, it's only covering half the screen because this lamp is in the way. Like, if I remove this lamp, suddenly this guy can get a fair bit more of the scene. And if I had another lamp over here, another one of these big lamps over here, then I could eliminate that half of the scene, and boom, I would have a lot better access to my set without these big honking lamps in the way. And so now of course I have to, I'm probably gonna have to start over again because it's no longer in the same position. It's honestly in a much better position now that I moved it. A little brighter. I don't mind it. I don't mind starting over. I don't mind starting over this time. I'm getting kind of thirsty. Hold on while I turn up my music to cover up, the much less copyright safe music that my brother is playing in the next room. And then I will I'm going to disable my webcams so that I can dip out and get a drink of water real quick. I don't have water in here. I'm back. I did not have my water. I did not have water. That's closer to where it was originally. Yeah. Alright. Hopefully YouTube did not pick up his music and won't be my brother's a big rap fan and he likes to play music very loud, so hopefully YouTube won't pick up what he was listening to. And I won't get a copyright strike. Because music labels be kinda scary when it comes to that kind of thing. Okay, just triple check. Yep, everything looks like it's in focus. Okay, and first frame. Third time's a charm. Mute the dialogue. I think that's a bit too much. That's better. Just a couple more frames. And we'll see how close we are. I think I want those 7 frames of the word kid. And if we go back over here. So this is, it's okay. Kid, I get it. Is the next phrase after that. So this right here, these 7 frames, that's the word kid. That's Deckard saying the word kid. I think I'm going to have, like, the camera's going to be looking at Deckard, but Morgan is going to raise her head. I'm either gonna have it looking at Deckard. I might have it looking at Morgan again. But Deckard's the one talking, so I kind of want it to be looking at him. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. So that starts 54. We're already on 44, so 10 more. One more, and then we need to start lowering that arm. Okay. Of course, his arm is out there. Being fairly cooperative. Deckard's jacket is actually being fairly. Deckard's jacket is actually being fairly cooperative. I've moved too much. Definitely moved too much. That's why. He's turning again. Problem is Deckard likes to lean. Aha! That's the problem. That's the problem. Almost there. Right. Those last few frames can be an extension of... Yeah. Alright. Copy. Just reversed. Hmm. So I'm gonna try to approximate Deckard's position. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna delete that frame. And, of course, the lamps. Of course, the tape on the lamps is... degraded. So now, we bring the dialogue back. Mm. Mm. Alright, so now I have to figure out now I'm gonna move the and I bump the lighting in. Trying to create a cinematically camera was lower. It's still at an angle. This guy, that wouldn't be as big of a problem. With this guy, that would have been as big of a problem because I can angle it. So we're in between frames, and so we don't need to maintain. We're in between shots, which is good, which means I can experiment. I can do little experiments. I can do little experiments without really messing anything up. Damn it. Camera. It's very unstable. Need to be. It gets cut off by the wall. Originally, I designed this to be this wall to swing out, this left wall to swing out, but when I painted it, I didn't really account for that, and so now, and then the paint and so the paint dried and locked it in place. So, but that's why we're doing this at the that's why we're doing this okay. That should make things less dizzy. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Nice and stiff. Okay, so that is not gonna work. So instead we turn, and I'm bumping shit all the while. Instead we turn to plan B. That is a shot focusing on Morgan. And now you see the trick I pulled. You see the trick I pulled last time. Deckard's hand. So you gotta account for that. So I don't really want to. Okay. gotta... Deckard is already pretty close, and I don't want to... I see what's going on. Why so dark? Again, shut up. Kinda ghetto. Using my usual tricks, I'm going to adjust We're going to adjust Deckard's position. We're going to adjust Deckard. Yes, we're going to adjust Deckard's position. We're going to adjust Deckard's position so that it looks like he's move the camera a little bit more away. And then position Deckard. And his comforting hand. So that they're not as in the way. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. And,
It's updated.
actually, give me an idea. I have an idea. Yeah. Yeah. By adjusting things the way we have, we might have created the shot I was looking for before. If only it wasn't so high up. If only it wasn't so high up. If only. If only, if only, if only, if only. Don't have as many Legos as I do at my parents'. I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna close this so that you don't get dizzy. Well, so that the people who see this don't get dizzy. Alright. If it was... But this is too low. Possibly. Boy, am I glad I painted that roof. Well, no, we can... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna disappear again because I'm gonna try and find something to rest this on for this shot. So I will be right back. Surely there's something here. Okay. I found something that might work. We might need blue tack. We'll see. We might need a bit of blue tack. We'll see. I just repeated myself. I do that sometimes. Oh, I'm nervous. Ooh. the cord is still causing issues, but that is it needs to be. Yeah, it's still. It's still a bit lovely, but that fits surprisingly well together. If only I had like a flat one. Because that seems to be. But that's okay. We can. There we go. So, Deckard's head to be a bit. Mm-hmm. Alright. I can move Deckard over a little bit. Okay. So that brings us to the question. My trick is not working. So, who should be in focus? Looks like they're both in focus. Yeah. Fantastic. We here at Luke the Bat Nerd Productions believe in the MacGyver principle. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Now, the absolute. Now, there's a problem. A minor problem with this shot. That might be an issue. That might come up. That's so. I'm going to use the calculator. You can't really see it because currently I'm just capturing the dragon frame window. Yeah. So 274 minus 113. Full second. No. I have You know, after all the trouble I went through to get this shot set up, like, originally, when I did this, okay, let me get my storyboard. Originally, when I did my storyboard, I had Deckard take a knee so that he was closer, and you just saw the big problem with this setup. Very easy to disrupt. So, I think that's roughly where we had it. Because the cable management down here, not the greatest. Not greatest. But originally, I don't know if you can. Actually, I have, and of course it's upside down. Properties. HD camera. I don't have time to play with this. Okay. I can't really... But right here, this is the shot we're on. And originally, I wanted Deckard to kneel down. But, to kneel down, so that at this moment he was at Morgan's eye level, you know, because that's, you know, he's trying to comfort her. He's trying to help her, you know, deal with a pretty fucked up experience, if you'll pardon my French. You know, because she's basically just told him that she witnessed a murder not too long ago. And so this whole situation we got right here, I'm not really feeling it. I would have to figure out how to do that. So I would have to go back here and figure out how I'm going to do that. Because it's not very easy to do. It's not. No, it's really not easy to make a character get down on one knee. Pop a knee. Sorry, keep forgetting to do that so that you guys don't get vertigo. Well, it's not like anybody's watching the stream right now. But anybody who watches the stream in the future, I don't want them to get vertigo. I will probably unlist these at some point. I will probably unlist these streams eventually. But yeah, if we let's go back to let's try to go back to something close to this, right? I should really put this down more often. That's something I'm used to having. Okay. So that's a rough estimate of where we were, right? So let me grab Deckard here. Let me degunk his feet. Of course, I gotta. Right. actually. Sorry, I'm freaking with a flashlight right now. Okay. That's a bit more useful. So let's... About there. Yep. Okay. So I'd have to come up with a way to get Deckard from here, from like here-ish to here in order for the original intent of the scene. I'm not quite sure how to do that. I never quite exactly figured out how I was going to use this. And like, this kind of stuff is why I bought this. Yeah. How I'd make this longer. But yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I get from here to here. And of course, what's going on? She's in frame-ish, but he's not. to make that work. Because, like, you'd have to go, because like the mechanics of, like, the body mechanics of kneeling, of lowering your center of gravity like that, kind of complicated. Like, I'm not quite sure how to do it. So I didn't. So now I have to figure out how to now I have to figure out how I'm gonna make, you know, this whole situation work. It's just too. It's very complicated. It's very complicated. Like, maybe if I could. Maybe do something like this. Where it's like, attached to his back, maybe. Cause like, I don't know. This thing does not have as much range as I was hoping it would. Range as I was hoping it would, to be honest. If I clip it to the table, that's about as far as it gets. But if I don't clip it to the table, like... Oh, that's stable. I guess I could try moving the set closer. That could work. That could definitely work. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to... I've only been... Okay, I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. Like, the problem I'm having is that action figures don't really work the way we do. And so, like, I can... Basically, what I want him to do is I want him to take a knee and, like, put his hand on Morgan's shoulder, right? You know, to comfort her, to reassure her, to show that he cares. And so that is a very complicated motion, especially in stop motion terms, because figures, like, because you have to make sure that the figure stays upright at every stage, in the movement, and they typically do not do that. So I'm trying to figure out find the simplest way to do that, I think, would be to have him basically go backwards, essentially. I would need to... I'm gonna have to cut the stream short because I need to go. I'm hungry, so I need to go eat a snack, and then I need to make dinner. Because like what I do for dinner is I make a pizza, and then I eat a couple slices of what I call homemade pizza every night. And it's quick and convenient on the days when I don't have to make the pizza, but today is the day I have to make the pizza, so yeah, I think that would be easiest. And we'd have him end up in this position. But how would I do? How do we get the arm? The arm is part of the challenge. I don't know. But of course, like, if he's standing, of course, if he's standing, and then if he's standing, like, back here, like up here, and then I sticky tack his left foot, that'll eventually end up his front foot. He's gonna go that way. He's gonna end up going away from Morgan. Which, yeah. I wish this figure had a boot swivel. That's something that the Cobb Vanth figure sorely lacks. I think I'm gonna be majorly overhauling Deckard if I can. Yeah. He's gonna be all the way back here. It's a conundrum. It is certainly a conundrum. But, yeah. tired. I need to go. Yeah. It's a conundrum. And I'm probably just gonna have to. Okay. Here's an idea. It's gonna extend my frames, but what if I moved this back and created an empty space where we could have a shot of Morgan looking up from like an angle like this, and then obviously I'd position Deckard so that he was, he was visible but not in the way, like over here. And so she looks up, and then we follow it up. We follow that up with a shot that's like up here, like a close-up of Deckard. And that's him saying his line. And then he says his line. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to do that today. Unfortunately, I don't. I'm not going to do that today because like in 30 minutes I need to be making dinner. So I'm just going to go ahead and go so that I can like eat a snack or something and then make dinner. So see you next time. Next time we will do that. See you next time. Next time we will do that. I should have ended it over there.